Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the annual general meeting of Leading Edge Credit Union. Before we get started this evening, I would like to review some general housekeeping items for all attendees. Due to the number of attendees, lines will be muted during the meeting. Participants are encouraged to use the chat function to ask questions at any time. Lines can also be unmuted by request. Please use the chat function to do so. Consensus for motions will be determined through polling. Our annual report can be accessed on our website, lecu.ca. This meeting will be recorded and available to view online. For technical support, please utilize the Zoom Help Center, also available online. During tonight's meeting, there will be 7 polls launched for attendees to vote on the following motions: adoption of the agenda, adoption of the 11th annual general meeting minutes, adoption of the president's report, adoption of the CEO's report, adoption of the audit committee report, adoption of board remuneration, adoption of the dividend/patronage refund. If you wish to move or second a motion, you may do so using the chat function. I will now pass things over to the chair of our board, Dan Sheaves, to call the meeting to order.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 12th annual general meeting of Leading Edge Credit Union. I will begin our meeting with the land acknowledgement statement. Today, we are meeting virtually from many communities throughout Newfoundland and Labrador. Our membership from the island are working from the ancestral homelands of the Mi'kmaq and Beothuk peoples, and our participants from Labrador are from the lands of the original people of Labrador, the Innu and Inuit. We offer our respects to all our Indigenous cultures and recognize their continued connection to the land. I will now invite Charlotte Taylor to confirm we have established required quorum.
In order to establish quorum, I ask that all attendees please use the following poll to indicate their member status as shareholder, member non-shareholder, or non-member. Okay, we'll leave the poll open for just a few more seconds. Okay, thank you, everyone. Of the 37 people in attendance, 33 are shareholders. We have established quorum.
Thank you, Charlotte. Pursuant to section 8.06 of our bylaws, the meeting is duly constituted. On your screens, you can see the agenda items for our meeting. Before the meeting, each attendee had the opportunity to review the agenda for this, our 12th AGM, as well as the minutes of the June 24th, 2020 meeting. Are there any additions or omissions to note concerning the agenda? Hearing none, I will motion to adopt the agenda of May 11th, 2021. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Edwina Bateman moved.
So Edwina Bateman has moved, and
Our secondary. Jeff Petrie seconded.
And Jeff Petrie has seconded. Is there any further discussion of the motion? Hearing none, please vote on the motion using the chat feature. Sorry, the poll feature. Thank you very much. We have 100% adoption. Next on our agenda is item 3, adoption of the previous meeting's minutes. I will put forward a motion to adopt the minutes of June 24th, 2020, the 11th annual general meeting. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Janet Willis moved.
It's been moved by Janet Willis and
Barry as a second.
And Gary O'Brien is?
No, Barry.
Oh, Barry, I'm sorry. Barry is seconded. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, please vote on the motion. Thank you, everyone. Motion is carried. As per item 4 of the agenda, we have determined no business arising from the minutes of last year's annual general meeting. Does the membership have any business arising from the AGM minutes of 2020? Hearing none, I'll move on to the next agenda item. Agenda item number 5. It's my president's report. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. The year 2020 has been extraordinary. COVID-19 pandemic has impacted economies, households, businesses, and financial institutions around the world. Despite the many challenges, your credit union continues to be on sound footing, both operationally and financially. LECU has exceeded budget profits during fiscal 2020. This was achieved through strong leadership, teamwork, and immediate response to the operational impacts of the pandemic. Operational costs were mitigated due to public health measures, and our cost of capital was lower, which also resulted in improved financial margins. Your elected board members are committed to effective and efficient governance. Your board has met all its governance responsibilities and will continue to lead the industry in our efforts towards being fully certified in the Credit Union Directors Accreditation Program. 6 of the 9 board members are fully certified, with the remaining directors well on the way to certification. The rapid pace of change and increasing complex regulatory environment in which we operate continues to present challenges to financial cooperatives. We proudly invest in our staff, communities, and emerging products. We continue to seek economies of scale, all towards a constant goal of increasing member value. We continue to advocate for amalgamation and collaboration opportunities to improve the quality and efficiency of our service to members. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I will now put forward a motion to adopt the President's report for 2020 as presented. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Debbie Savory moved.
So moved by Debbie Savory.
Oh, sorry. Debbie Savory has moved, and
Geneva Taylor seconded.
Geneva Taylor has seconded. Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, please vote on the motion. Thank you, everyone. Motion is carried. I will now ask our CEO, Corey Munden, for his presentation of the CEO's report for 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, everybody, for participating in our virtual AGM. It is fantastic to see people turn out and take part in this, and watching the behind the scenes here, watching the democratic process in full bloom. So thank you very much for taking the time to participate. As our chair indicated, and we're all aware, we've been operated in 2020 with a year that we certainly didn't see coming. We had the COVID-19 pandemic impact us tremendously. I'm pleased to say that we navigated through those difficult waters, implementing many different initiatives to ensure that first of all, our members and our staff were safe on a day-to-day basis. Some of the operational changes that we put in place, as you can see on your screen, we implemented a call-in and drop-off service for members without online or mobile access. This was very well received, seeing many comments on our social media platform from members alike, talking about how pleased they were that we were able to assist, especially our most senior members, in accessing their banking services during this time. We implemented safety protocols like in-branch restrictions, glass barriers, and social distancing, as I'm sure many of you have witnessed and seen when you visited our branch. We implemented digital signatures, and I'll speak to that a little bit later. And we implemented remote working where possible for mainly in our corporate office staff. We reduced branch accessible hours to ensure, again, the safety of our workers, to make sure that, you know, we limited and tried to do as much as we can to ask our members to not visit our locations during the peak of the COVID pandemic. We reduced our employee workday while continuing to pay our employees full wages. We felt it was very important for mental health purposes and to ensure their safety that we reduced the workday for all of our employees during a period of time. And our Occupational Health and Safety Committee implemented continuous communications, which worked out extremely well and kept everyone abreast of how important it was to navigate through these waters. Saying all that, it was really gratifying to put out a couple surveys. One is we put out a survey to our staff and we asked, how did he feel that we did in response to the pandemic? And I'm pleased to say that we had an 88% excellent satisfaction rating from our staff. We also took the opportunity in our most recent member satisfaction survey, excuse me, to ask our members, how did they feel we did with our response to the pandemic? And we had an 87 response, which I think is also bodes very well for our operation and our team in handling that situation. Just some statistics as well to share. We reached out to 700 of our most vulnerable members to help them bank safely. As you heard me say, this mostly represented our senior population. We took the time to go through and run queries to identify the members who visited our branch operation most frequently and made a courtesy call to them and advised that we could do the same level of high caliber service over the phone at their convenience. We reached over 1,500 members with the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit tax advice. Again, this was a new initiative that came out. Many people were confused about how they could access this, and our staff were trained and we provided that necessary advice. And even equally as important, we helped 60 of our business members access over $3 million in the Canadian Emergency Business Account program that our federal government put in place. Throughout the year, pre-COVID, we had set 5 strategic goals. And I would like to just bring you an update on each of these strategic goals. Our goal number 1 was that we certainly wanted to be financially sustainable. It's very important for us that we continue to provide exceptional member value and that we'd also fulfill our strong commitment to our shareholders and our stakeholders. And that would be the communities in which we serve, our staff, and the membership. Our goal number 2 was that we wanted members to do more business with us because of our strong commitment to our communities and higher quality products and services. We also set a goal that we would communicate to our members relevant information to assist them in meeting their financial goals. This has come critically important as what we're witnessing, especially in Canada today, is the general population having lack of financial awareness. And in the result, Canada continues to boast the highest debt loads in its nation. So we have to do our part to ensure that our members are financially protected. And staff, goal number 4, staff will have necessary tools, skills, and knowledge to provide our members exceptional advice. And goal number 5, our stakeholders will understand the cooperative model and its benefits. So let's talk a little bit more about each of these. From the financial sustainability perspective, you heard our chair mention that we did come in and we met our budget targets, but it was at no easy feat. We were operating in an environment where our interest rates continue to drop through the Bank of Canada, which caused us to have a lower than budgeted financial revenue of $27,000, less than 2019, as a matter of fact, despite some small growth in lending that we had. We operated in an environment where consumers really stopped spending. Their daily lives were interrupted, and we were feeling the impact here at a credit union, as there were a lot of unknowns and uncertainties of what would happen for their future. And from a delinquency management perspective, we saw definitely a concern around what was in store for members as we navigated through the pandemic. Just some statistics for your consideration is we saw our interest rates drop from an average of 4.76% in 2019 to 4.56 in 2020. We saw our financial expense drop from 56,000 to 2019. That meant that more members that do have investments with us, they witnessed again a reduction in the interest earned from their deposits with us. We had completed 605 loans compared to 732 in 2019. However, one anomaly was we witnessed deposits increase by $17 million in 2020. So the government stimulus was working, people were stopped spending, and savings accumulated. We also saw a surge in mortgage delinquency, which hit as high as $985,000. And during that time, I'm pleased to say, offering our members financial assistance, we approved over 896 loan deferments on lending products. Through all that, we did add $194,000 to our bad debts to that year. But despite this information, we did have a healthy bottom line, and that was through having some strategic partners that provided us exceptional rebates during this time, as well as we had proper expense management. We didn't have the travel that we traditionally used to. So these types of expenditures didn't come to fruition. And as a result, we did have a healthy bottom line. Another goal for us was around products and services and our commitments to our community. And when we polled our members, they indicated to us that they were in agreement with our credit union having a community and social focus. As you can see in the chart on your screen, what's interesting is our members with greater tenure recognized our community and social focus versus greater value on that versus our members with less than 5 years experience. So I think this poll tells us that we need to certainly do more education on those newer members to advise them on how we are integrating within our community. From a selection of financial products, as you can see, we had a high score of 98% level of satisfaction with the suite of products and services that we provide to our membership. And again, oddly enough, the members with less tenure had ranked us at 77%. But overall, I'm pleased to say that we had a 94% member satisfaction rating, which is fantastic. From a product and service delivery, we had two emerging products that is worthwhile noting in 2020. The first one is DocuSign, which is the software that allows us to collect member signatures digitally. This eliminates the member to be in person to sign. So as you can appreciate, working with a large concentration of rotational and shift workers member base that we have, we're now able to email the documents to a member for signature. I do recall the times in my working here at the credit union where we would be sending documents and loan documents out to other credit unions throughout the country because our members, of course, stretch across Canada and beyond, asking fellow credit unions to basically look after us and look after our member by having them go in and sign forms. That day is gone. We can process loans, mortgages, open accounts, etc., using a digital signature, and that service is certainly gaining traction. From a member mobile wallet perspective, this is basically the convenience of using your phone instead of your debit card to pay for an item at a point of sale machine. You forgot your card, not a problem. Use your phone, easily register your debit card, and it operates essentially as your debit card. It's safe, it's secure, and it also keeps your receipts in a tidy location. If you're anything like me, and Charlotte can attest, trying to find a receipt for a purchase is not the most fun thing to do. From a community, and continuing from that on goal number 2 is our community impact. And as you can see through this beautifully laid out chart, which showcases the contributions from our community impact for our leading edge over the course of 2020. I'd invite you also to check out our booklet online for our annual booklet. It is filled with different visuals like this. But as you can see, we had 1,289 volunteer hours logged in 2020. We continue to support the Growing Our Futures Childcare Cooperative, in which we assisted in its opening, which I do believe was the 3rd year anniversary of opening in last month. Amazing. $15,000 in interest relief for the mortgage in question that they have with us. And of course, we always continue volunteer time and expertise from 2 LEC leading edge credit union staff members. Our Eco Loan program provided $14,000 in interest savings for our members, so they could save money while helping the environment. And I'd invite anyone who's unfamiliar with that product to check that out. It's a low rate if you purchase something that is deemed an eco-friendly. And we have over 300 community organizations avail of free banking packages valued at over $25,000. And I know as chair of as the treasurer of minor hockey, and during COVID, you could imagine the amount of e-transfers that institution went through, and that institution had 0 service charges. These are the great things that we're doing for our community that I feel should be recognized. And lastly, or not lastly, but another key point, Corner Brook and Jeffries 50/50 fundraiser provided nearly $24,000, folks. That's $24,000 for community causes in those areas. A wonderful, wonderful initiative, and one that we're about or officially have launched in other communities besides Corner Brook and Jeffries. So stay tuned for that. And hopefully we can encourage more member participation in those branches so we can lift that number up. Our goal number 3 was to communicate relevant information to assist our members in meeting their financial goals. And so while most of our marketing material and our posts and our shares have some aspect of financial advice, there were 17 articles shared across our social media channels in 2020 that were specifically geared towards helping members reach their financial goals. This created 561 engagements. It had 83 shares and over 20,000 views. And as indicated, our top 3 topics that we communicated were geared at products and services that were applicable to providing financial awareness and advice, mortgage insurance, and RSP loans. Our goal number 4 was to provide our staff tools, skills, and knowledge to ensure that we continue to provide exceptional service to our members. And in 2020, I'm pleased to report that over 337 courses were completed by leading edge credit union staff, a significant accomplishment. In 2020, we also implemented a service standard manual, and the service standard manual was a contributional effort of many people at corporate as well as branch participated in drafting and implementing this particular manual. And essentially, we wanted to ensure that no matter which location a member visited, that they would get the same high level of quality of service. And I'm pleased to report that that was implemented in in 2020. I think it's also worth recognizing that every staff person has what's called a training and development roadmap. They're expected to complete their roadmap obligation within 3 years of being employed. We have now 86% of our staff at 100% completed, which is great and fantastic. And I can tell you and rest assured that some of these roadmaps are extensive, and university courses equipped with product knowledge and skills, training and development, and it is exceptional. And of course, each roadmap is different for the different roles that are played. So hats off again to all of the staff who contributed towards the roadmap in 2020. Goal number 5 was to ensure that our stakeholders will understand the cooperative model and its benefits. Now, there's a lot of data on this chart, but I can tell you that this slide certainly does my heart good, because it recognizes that our membership are starting to understand that we are more than a banking institution providing financial services. In fact, I often say that we use financial services as a means to do community good. And if you can think about that a little bit more and recognize it and understand it, we provide banking services to our membership so we're able to do good in our community. And it's very important, it's really nice to see that our members are starting to recognize this. As you see, when asked if members agreed that we were value-based, profits, people, membership, and community, that we had an overwhelming 85% agreement. When they choose LECU because it's different than a bank, we're starting to see, again, a lift in this percentage of, as you indicated, we have 80% of our members that have a 5-year or 10-year. In this case, we see something different. We see the new membership that have signed on value in this a little bit more, which is really interesting if you start thinking about how people's perceptions of choosing an institution are somewhat impacted by the good that an institution does within their community. One that's particularly important here is it cares about me, my financial being, and 90% rating. And I think, you know, if you're choosing to bank with a credit union and you recognize that we are here for you and we're here for your best interest versus the corporation's best interest, I think that's something definitely worth noting. One area we've done better in this year, but we still have a bit of work to do, and that demonstrates that we care about the environment. And we do wonderful things to showcase our care for the environment, but I think, again, we'll try and do better next year on showcasing that in a more effective manner. In 2020, there were 9 social media posts aimed towards increasing cooperative knowledge for our members. We talked about our 7 cooperative principles in detail. There are lots of stats to indicate on the reach that we've got in those particular areas. We had a general post about cooperatives, and we also had a message from the CEO during the co-op week. And most recently, towards the end of the year, we also had a co-op housing presentation, and we started to facilitate more discussion around how co-op housing could certainly be valuable in the communities in which we operate. And that was a wonderful, well-attended presentation. And I do hope that we'll see some good come out of that particular presentation, and we can see some co-op housing be initiated. We've reached over 4,000 people. We had 28 shares and 71 engagements around our co-op messaging. So it's needless to say that we are seeing some positive things come out of the work that we do around this area. And I think it's interesting to note for those who are online that when we post messaging that are specific to our communities, we see a significant increase in participation from those who are viewing our social media platform versus standard scripted type messaging. So when we make it personal, I think that everyone seems to want to be more engaged. And around the co-op messaging, this is just an example. I'll now just move in to a few financial statistics to share with you. So your credit union continues to grow. In 2020, we had significant growth in assets again, representing 14%. We are now sitting at at the end of 2020, we were sitting at $147 million. The 14% growth is due in large part by our members investing surplus cash into our credit union due to the pandemic. And across Canada, this trend is being felt. Citizens held on to their savings due to the uncertainty of the pandemic, and this created large financial reserves in financial institutions, and we were no different. As you heard me say, what was different was the amount of lending that was utilized in 2020. As identified in the chart, we only had 1.7% growth compared to the previous year of 4.7% growth. And members, they either use their surplus cash for purchases, they pay down their debt from their unutilized travel funds that many, I think, can relate to, and they reduced their borrowing significantly. Newfoundland and Labrador, I think, is interesting to note. It was the only province that had not witnessed a surge in home values that the other provinces are experiencing and currently continue to experience. So this, of course, does not yield large mortgage growth that other provinces are experiencing. And home construction was replaced with remodels as people were confined to their properties during the pandemic. And we're seeing and feeling the impact of that today, as many are aware, with lumber prices and supply chain issues. As already mentioned, our member savings grew exponentially in 2020 as people parked spending and focused on savings, and deposits in credit unions grew and continue to grow, exceeding $22 million so far year to date. As you can see in the chart, this certainly has not been a trend for your credit union in the past. We've also, what's not reflected in this chart is the use of our wealth management service, which just exceeded over $50 million through our wealth management service offered through Jack Lissel and Jody that have an office in Cornerbrook and service our members at all 5 locations. And so again, you could add on an additional $50 million in assets with that service as well. When serving a member on a mortgage, we have the option to book the mortgage in our credit union or refer them to our mortgage center. So the statistics you are seeing on the screen is our mortgage center. And our mortgage center allows us to book out of the province mortgages for members. So if you're a member that looking to buy a home in Ontario, BC, we can service you through our mortgage center. We can't book that loan, unfortunately, because of legislation at our branch level, but we can use our mortgage center for that purpose. So outside of your credit union being a $147 million credit union, we also have $9.69 million in mortgages at our mortgage center. And they also include our discount and brokerage department as well, for those members who are looking for a bare bone mortgage at a severely discounted rate. So this value is declining because we're continuing to do more mortgages within our own leading edge credit union than referring them to our mortgage center. So that's the purpose of why we're seeing a decline. And there's also a reason why you're seeing our interest rates decline as per the trend that I showed you earlier. Membership in our credit union continues to grow as more and more members spread the word about the great products and service they receive. I'm very pleased to acknowledge that we are bucking the trend that's happening in nationally and Atlantic credit unions. There seems to be more stagnant in terms of membership trends, and our credit union has continued to grow year over year, as indicated in this chart. So we're currently at 9,038 unique open memberships. Wonderful. And finally, from a net income perspective, As you can see, in 2020, we recorded a profit of $433,337. But this pandemic did impact our bottom line in several ways, as was mentioned. With a lower demand for lending, financial revenue did fall behind budget by $27,000, as you heard me say. And interest rates over the course of 2020 lowered as a result of the Bank of Canada, and our lower lending rates contributed to further lowering our interest income. And interest rates on our maturing deposits also experienced lower rates due to the change in rates. And the end result was a lower deposit expense for our credit union. But as you heard me say, our partners had recorded very strong earnings, and as a result, we received rebates and dividends from them, contributing to a profit of $433,000. One of my favorite duties of the annual meeting is to acknowledge some individuals. And I'd like to just take a minute to go through each one of these. For those of you who don't know Jeff Patry, he joined our Leading Edge Credit Union Board 5 years ago, and he has served on a number of committees, including our Legislative and Audit Committee. He's currently the chair of our Community Impact Committee. How cool is that? And he works closely with Leading Edge Credit Union staff and board to ensure that we continue to advance our community impact work for the benefit of our members and their communities. So congratulations, Jeff, on your 5 years of service. Tracy Keeping has joined our Leading Edge Credit Union 10 years ago, has started out in Port aux Basques as our financial service representative before moving into a lending role in our Doyle's branch. She now has moved into a current role as branch manager in our Doyle's branch since 2015, where she leads a team of dedicated financial professionals servicing our Codroy Valley community. And Tracy is an active community and volunteer, most recently helping to lead a community service garden project to benefit local residents and address food security. And if you want to learn a little bit more about that, please visit our social media Facebook site. We have some announcements there. A wonderful initiative. And again, congratulations, Tracy, not only on your 10-year service, but spearheading that initiative. Can't wait to see what unfolds behind your credit union building with that community initiative. Our annual Protection Awareness Award this year goes to Rhoda Pumphrey, and Rhoda is a dedicated branch community leader who has been with our credit union for over 27 years. I do believe she leads, maybe she's pretty close, her and Don are pretty close, but 27 years tenure. She has a long history of working with members to provide the service and advice that's best for them. So this is very fitting that she is being recognized for her work in protecting the best interests of members she works with. We congratulate Rhoda for this well-deserved recognition. And I do know that the members in our community truly do love Rhoda. So congratulations, Rhoda, on your well-deserved award. Danielle Clark joined Leading Edge Credit Union in 2019 and has since demonstrated her commitment to training excellence by completing her full training roadmap in just 1 year, 10 months, 14 months ahead of schedule, folks, and even seeking out additional training focused on investment products and service excellence. Her positive attitude and commitment to applying her learnings to the work she does with members makes her a true asset to our team. We're excited to see her reach this accomplishment. Congratulations, Danielle, and keep on striving for excellence. Mindy has been with the credit union, Mindy Gillingham, for over 8 years and has shown herself to be a passionate credit union ambassador. She's engaged and eager to learn, and our members consistently recognize Mindy for her positive attitude and caring nature. She believes in the co-op model and the principles of fairness and equity, and that all should be treated equally. Mindy goes above and beyond for our members and for her community. We are proud to recognize Mindy with the Hubert Hall Memorial Staff Award. Congratulations, Mindy, well deserved. Brandy joined the credit union over 13 years ago as our marketing specialist. She has always been an avid community volunteer, and in 2020 alone volunteered over 53 hours of her time to community groups and events, including the Gateway Curling Club, the Race to the Sea, and the Harmon Hustle, each of which were heavily impacted by the pandemic and had to adjust quickly with the help of volunteers like Randy. Congratulations, Randy, on this recognition. And if you've ever participated in any of those events, you have no trouble in recognizing or hearing Randy. As she knows she can't say anything because she will be heard on the mic. So I can say what I like. The Jeffreys branch of Leading Edge Credit Union opened in 1993 as a result of members of that community going door to door, soliciting support for establishing the credit union in their community after the Bank of Montreal closed, leaving residents without a local banking option. And since those early days, the community served by Jeffreys branch have been closely intertwined with the branch and their staff members, whether single-handedly organizing an annual winter festival. Let me repeat that. Single-handedly organizing the annual winter festival, raising thousands of dollars for community needs, such as the fire department, playgrounds, and library, or volunteering at school programs, there is no question that the staff of the Jeffreys branch live cooperative principle number 7, concern for community, a well-deserved recognition for sure. I often say that if you had to close a branch's doors, what would be missed beyond providing members products and services? And you would have no trouble after reading that in saying that the members in that community, the people in that community, would sadly miss the Jeffreys branch, given all the work that they do within that community. So, Mr. Chair, that is my report.
Thank you, Corey. Some very positive news in these challenging times. I'd like to commend you and your staff and the board, of course, on a very successful year. Again, a very, very challenging year. I'd also like to recognize that these results are directly tied to the level of commitment and support of our 8,000 members. So thanks to those as well, or them as well. They're the reason we're here. So now that we have Corey's report, I will put forward a motion to adopt CEO's report for 2020 as presented. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Tony Lehman moved.
Tony Lehman has moved.
And Barry Sims seconded.
And Barry Sims has seconded. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, please vote on the motion. Thank you. Our poll is ended and motion is carried. We now move to item number 7, the audit committee chair's report, Janet Willis, but Corey is going to present that for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And as our chair indicated, I'll read the report on behalf of Janet Willis, chair of the audit committee. And the audit committee is a legislative requirement that our credit union must have. And I want to thank them for doing a great job and ensuring that their duties are fulfilled. So despite all the challenges presented by the pandemic, your credit union is performing well and meeting all requirements. The audit committee has been active over the past year, having met on 5 occasions to perform its duties on behalf of the board of directors. Leading Edge Credit Union had 2 audits completed by our auditor, Mr. Byron Smith. The first audit is the internal audit, which focuses on procedures and processes, ensuring Leading Edge Credit Union does what it says it will. The second audit is the audit of financial statements, ensuring the financial statements are accurately represent the position of Leading Edge Credit Union and that appropriate accounting standards have been followed. Both audits have been reviewed by the committee and no items of great concern have been reported. At the time of writing this report, there were no unresolved issues between the committee, the Credit Union Deposit and Guarantee Corporation, which is our regulator, and the external auditor. Any concerns that arose throughout the year were addressed in a professional and satisfaction manner by management, Leading Edge Credit Union continues to maintain strong process and procedures which are followed and updated as required. Leading Edge Credit Union has a robust enterprise risk management strategy in place. The enterprise risk management framework is a way to assess the risk inherent in our business and ensure that appropriate controls in place to offset such risk. Leading Edge Credit Union additionally uses a shared service provider to ensure our enterprise risk management strategy, allowing us to leverage experts in the field and reduce the risk associated with keeping up to date in this area. Mr. Chair, that is the report of the audit committee.
Thank you, Cory. Hearing the audit report, I will now put forward a motion to adopt the audit committee report for 2020 as presented. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Debbie Savory moved.
It's been moved by Debbie Savory
Edwina Bateman second.
and seconded by Edwina Bateman. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, please vote on the motion. Thank you. The poll is ended and motion is carried. Item 8 on our agenda is a legislative committee's board remuneration recommendation. A motion from the membership is required. The scheduled phase of remuneration has expired. There have been no issues raised with current rates. With this in mind, the board proposes no changes to remuneration for the coming year. This requires approval of the membership. Therefore, I will put forward a motion to continue the remuneration of the board for 2020-2021 board equal to that which was approved by the membership for the 2019-2020 board year. Can I have a mover and seconder, please?
Geneva Taylor moved it.
Geneva Taylor has moved
And Barry Sims is second.
and Barry Sims has seconded. Thank you very much. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, please vote on the motion. Thank you. The poll is ended. Motion is carried. We are now moving to item 9 of our agenda, new business. I would first like to present to you the election results for 2020. As there were 3 available positions and 3 nominees, our returning candidates were elected by acclamation. At this time, we would like to congratulate Bruce Burton, Tony Lehman, and Gary O'Brien. Congrats, gentlemen. The second item is the presentation of the dividend and patronage refund for 2020. We will be recommending a distribution of $6,047.02 in the form of a refund to our membership. This decision requires the approval of members present. As such, I put forward a motion as follows. Pursuant to Section 29 of the Credit Union Act, that members approve a distribution to members in the form of a dividend and/or patronage refund, an amount up to $6,047.02. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Jeff Patry moved and
Yes.
Janet Willis second.
It's been moved by Jeff Patry and seconded by Janet Willis. Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, please vote on the motion. Thank you. We've now closed the poll and the motion is carried. As we bring our 12th annual general meeting to a close, there is a special new business item that I want to share. From our very beginnings, our credit union has been focused on growing our business, investing in our people and our community. Over the last 10 years, we've seen our assets grow from 76 million to 147 million and are proud to serve more than 8,000 members in Newfoundland and Labrador. Along the way, we've skillfully navigated and responded to many challenges we've encountered and always reached for places of opportunity to sustain our long-term value, member, and community focus. It's on this note of finding new solutions to ensure we remain a competitive and accessible choice for our members for years to come that I'm pleased to announce Leading Edge Credit Union is proposing a merger with Eagle River Credit Union. With our common history, size, and most importantly, shared values and culture, we believe this merger brings value to everyone. To explain why the board and our management team believe this merger is the right choice, let's take a few minutes to view this video.
We're pleased to announce that Eagle River Credit Union and Leading Edge Credit Union are proposing a merger. This is an important opportunity for our credit unions. The merger creates long-term sustainability and value for our members, our employees, and our communities. Our respective boards voted unanimously to recommend this merger to members. Working with the management teams, the boards of both credit unions carefully considered the merger and approached the work as full partners. We are confident that working together as one united credit union will ensure local banking options are available in the communities we serve today and for years to come.
Bert Belbin. I'm Chair of the Board of Eagle River Credit Union.
I'm Dan Sheaves. I'm Chair of the Board of Leading Edge Credit Union.
I'm recommending the merger because, simply put, it's in the best interest of our members. A new merged organization will combine the best of what both credit unions offer and build a more stronger, robust organization. When working as one credit union, we can implement more cost-effective solutions to improve products and services. We can also more effectively meet industry challenges, ensuring that the credit union remains competitive for years to come.
Both Eagle River Credit Union and LECU, Leading Edge Credit Union, are strongly aligned with shared values, community roots, and purpose-driven cultures. We have successfully partnered for over the last 10 years. We're also similar in how we serve our members, our product offerings, and how we invest in our staff and our communities. We have merger experience, we recognize the benefits, and know what it needs to make this a success. Our commitment is to combine our resources and to make decisions that clearly create values for our members, our employees, and our communities.
As boards, we are always exploring opportunities to increase the value our credit unions can provide to members and communities, as well as improve our competitive relevance in the marketplace. A few years ago, pre-pandemic times, and there were discussions that started around mergers and the way forward that we can remain strong now and into the future. Eagle River, while Leading Edge, was a natural partner because of the similarities, including the members and communities we serve. We started talking in 2019 and formally committed to exploring the merger in 2020. As part of the process, we established a group of board members and CEOs to work with a consultant to prepare a business case. We also completed independent reviews of each other's operations to ensure that we were comfortable moving forward. After assessing the benefits and concluding that there were no significant risks or concerns, we determined the merger was the best path forward to ensure our collective sustainable growth.
We've examined this merger closely, and some of the benefits to our members are we feel there are more value to our members, staff, and communities than each of us can do individually. We have 11 branches in Newfoundland and Labrador that provide greater access to financial success, competitive products, and financial expertise. Employees will have enhanced training and career opportunities. The new credit unions will remain a local, community-focused financial institution with more resources to invest in ways that our communities can become stronger.
Merger is about being stronger together. We can offer members more competitive products and services. In other words, members will keep the products and services they already have, and there will be others that will be added. Members will continue to benefit from personalized service. We remain committed to supporting our communities and doing more as we grow into the future. A merger positions us well for future growth and sustainability.
This merger will allow us to become better, stronger, and allow us to provide even more value to our members, employees, and communities. Both boards have approved the merger, but it's ultimately a decision of the members. There will be an opportunity to vote in June, and we encourage you to take some time to learn about the merger and to participate in voting.
We have created a website, bettervalueforall.ca, for our members. Here you can find the information you need to make an informed decision. This includes the merger plan, benefits, plus a summary of all the steps that are involved, so that you know when and how to vote.
Thank you for being a part of our communities and for adding your voice to this decision. This is yet another example of our long history of collaboration between credit unions and the communities we serve. We are excited and proud to be taking part in this decision with you.
So thank you, Dan. This is an exciting opportunity, certainly for our credit union. We've been working hard behind the scenes with Eagle River Credit Union, and I can assure you that we are committed to growing stronger together. And we know that many of you may have questions. We encourage you to visit the bettervalueforall.ca website as identified on the screen to find all the information you need about the merger. There'll be lots of information there, such as, your key benefits, your timelines, and frequently asked questions. So please check that out. Our staff and board also welcome your feedback. If you have any questions or you simply want to learn more about the merger, we will be happy to hear from you. In the meantime, please rest assured we will be communicating over the next course of the month to bring everyone up to speed on the voting times and how this process will unfold. It's very exciting news, and please take the necessary time to learn more about it. We've, as indicated, we've created this joint website, Better Value for All. So please take the opportunity to check it out.
Thank you. This concludes the official business of the meeting. As such, I will now put forward the request to adjourn the 12th annual meeting of Leading Edge Credit Union. Can I have a mover, please?
Debbie Staker.
Oh, sorry, Debbie Sager. Thank you very much. Thank you once again to all in attendance, and have a wonderful evening.